Halloween is not always about scary movies and gore and stuff that you just gotta watch with the adults. We got one that's good for the whole family that's not going to make you go like, this is just cheesy. Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional. This is Dave from Nerdbox, and I'm accompanied by my wife, Jen, also from Nerdbox. And on this episode of the Popcorn Confessionals, 31 Days of Halloween, we are talking about vampires versus the Bronx. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
Miguel, known as Little Mayor, his neighborhood is in the middle of a gentrification and he is organizing a block party to save a local bodega from going out of business. Miguel and his friends soon discover that the new people moving into the neighborhood are not only a bit strange, but may be linked to a vampire nest who are secretly looking to not only feed off of the locals, but also expand the size of their coven.
This is a great horror film for the entire family, and probably something that any city kid or person who grew up in the city can relate to. Now, you have a group of kids who are savvy to the changes of the neighborhood, who are struggling to convince the adults who are more focused on everyday problems of living, that their neighborhood is slowly being overrun. So, they have to take matters into their own hands. This is a perfect blend of Monster Squad and Attack the Block.
Absolutely. And these are three movies that I love watching with the kids because it's horror, but it's not. You know, it's vampires and it's funny.
Funny story. This is the Heights before the Heights came out. It is. It's the same premise of the Heights without the singing and with vampires. The cast in this movie is fantastic. The kids in this are great. They're really entertaining.
Well, I always think that it's really great when you can have a movie centered around a group of kids and they can just run with it and the movie's awesome.
Yeah. And I love how in this film here they start to kind of unravel the whole mythos of vampires by watching things like Blade.
Yeah, with the owner of the bodega who's supposed to be like a really good role model, and instead he's having them watch vampire movies.
Yeah, so this movie is fun. It's funny. The vampires don't look too cheesy. They kind of remind me of something that we saw in The Lost Boys when they turn into vampires. So it is very, very entertaining.
Yeah, it wasn't over the top. They didn't sparkle.
Yeah, thank God.
No, and we've seen some really crappy looking vampires in movies, let's face it. But they did a really good job. It was not over the top. It was subtle, but you knew they were vampires.
Yeah, and with this here being the Bronx, one of the kind of tip-offs that something's going on is, you have this white girl that just turns the corner, runs into a bunch of kids, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to call the cops on you." And the one kid's like, when they say they're not going to call the cops on you, that means they're usually going to call the cops on you. That's a big tip-off, and the kids is like, "Hey, did you go down the wrong street?"
No, she says, I just relocated here. And they're like, why?
And that's because the entire neighborhood is being made upscale. So they're trying to attract new people into the neighborhood by having businesses replaced with like, "Hey, come buy this type of cheese at this store," or go to an oil store. They have these weird stores that you would find.
Go buy a small coffee for $9.
Yeah. So that's the type of people that come in with.
I don't see how that helps a failing city, but okay. And I also love the fact that the parents were so oblivious.
Yeah.
To everything that's going on.
Now, as much as we don't try to get serious on the show when we're doing our reviews and everything, but this is what happens today in a lot of areas. In fact, one of my coworkers is going through the same issue in his neighborhood in Boston, where they're buying out all the local businesses and moving people out so that they can build up the area. And now I never had to experience that before, but we've lived in the slums in the ghetto at one point, and the reaction that Miguel had and his friends to the white woman was almost similar to us being in a neighborhood. You know, one day driving along, getting ready to park, and some guy opens my car, sits in, and he's like, "All right, so what do you want?" It's like, "I don't want nothing." It's like, "Why the hell are you driving in this neighborhood?" It's like, "Because I live here." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that." And he got out and left. So it is what it is. Good neighborhood, bad neighborhoods. A lot of those neighborhoods, they take care of each other. And that's definitely felt in this movie.
Yeah, and I think if the neighborhood is big enough, you always have the good side and the bad side, right? There's
it's anywhere you go.
Anywhere you go. I hate when people are like, "Oh, you live there?" Well, you don't know exactly where I live. I'm not in the bad side.
Yeah, so this is fun for all ages. Little kids will like it, teenagers will like it, adults will like it. So you definitely want to put this on your list to watch this.
Our teenagers gave us a hard time, and then they laughed through the whole movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and definitely pair it up with Monster Squad. So make it a 2-for-1. You know, maybe save the Attack the Block for last, or for teenagers, because that has a little heftier in language and stuff like that. So, but those two movies are perfect together.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, of all the type of movies that are out there, you know, there's Goonies, there's Monster Squad, there's Vampires versus the Bronx. It's definitely in that category. It's that good.
Yeah, yeah.
Vampire, go!
Okay, now, as you know, we're on that quest for 5,000 subscribers, and you can help us get there by putting a like on this video, dropping a comment, letting us know what you think of this movie. If you watch it, come back and say, "Yeah, this was good," or say, "Hey, no, that was crap." We want to hear it. We're not going to sit there and bash you for your opinion, because horror fans like what they like. There is no one thing that you have to like to make you a horror fan. So, drop a like, add a comment, help expand the audience for these videos. Every video that gets 100 comments and likes, you get to win some stuff. And then when we hit 5,000 subscribers, you get to possibly win Strawberries and Scream, signed by Matthew Lillard and David Arquette. So definitely take advantage of that.
And don't forget to share.
Yes, please do. Now, 31 video reviews on horror movies this month. It's also Terrifier month, and our new show, Pop 5. If you haven't seen it on your radar yet, go check it out, because there's a lot of cool stories on there. Especially the ones about the ring and the poltergeist, the scary stuff that's attached to it. Crazy.
Definitely.
Alright, so, she already said the share part. Until tomorrow, on 31 Days of Halloween here at the Popcorn Confessional. See you.
See ya.